It's a wonderful Monday evening here in the city of Lagos. Hello and welcome to Game On. Comes to you live from the studios of News Central Television. My name is Babatunde Koiki. Thank you so much as we bring you all the latest sporting news from across the world of sports. And of course, you know that we're streaming live on YouTube. And of course, you can use our social media handles, X, Instagram, whatever that comes up on your screen or whatever tickles your fancy, you can join that conversation using those social media handles. I'm not alone on the show. Today it's a two-man show. Okpe Adebari joins me and together we'll be looking at everything that has happened in the world of sports over the last 72, 48 hours and what's currently happening today. Thank you so much for joining me, Okpe. It promises to be a really good show, but as I like to do on Mondays, I'd like to ask you, what was your highlight of the weekend?
I think the amazing comeback from Liverpool in that, rather, pardon me, the amazing comeback from Manchester United. I think that had to be my highlight of the weekend. It was a great spectacle. Was it
that Manchester United played well or Liverpool played badly?
I mean, it's the magic of the FA Cup. I'll leave it at that. It's the magic of the FA
more
Cup.
diplomatic answer you never find. But thank you again for joining us. Without further ado, let's quickly jump into the show and now I'll go to the Africa Games where quite a lot has been happening over the last 48 to 72 hours. And we start with some tennis, where Nigeria hasn't particularly fared too well in that sport. Two of Nigeria's brightest prospects in the sport, Mary Love Edwards and rising star Wilson Igbinova, both of them have been eliminated from the tennis event. Mary Love Edwards, who is Nigeria's top-ranked player, suffered a surprising defeat against Algeria Ibu Inez. The match concluded with a scoreline of 6-love, 6-1, marking an uncharacteristic loss for Edwards, leading her to an elimination from the tournament. So no love, 6-love for Mary Love.
Exactly, and sadly she did lose. And just like you said, in tennis we've struggled a bit. We haven't really put our imprint in that sport yet, but definitely we've got some other young athletes coming up, and we hope that with consistent competition,
like Oyinlomo Quadri,
exactly.
Yeah,
so we hope that with consistent competition, they can eventually make their names on the global stage, not just in Africa.
Yeah, but it's sad because when you consider that it's both the men and women's event. That's Wilton Igbinova. He didn't particularly do too well against his own opponent Faris Zakaria in the round of 32. He put up a game. Tried his best, but ultimately lost as well. It's always been a major concern for a lot of people who watch tennis, who are big lovers of the game. That's for decades now, Nigeria has really struggled to make an imprint on the sport continentally, not to even talk of globally.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's a product, or rather, that's a result of us not putting a lot of effort and emphasis into it. I think tennis, just like some other sports, we haven't invested into it. Because when you go down into it and go into details, you find out that most of them have sponsored themselves individually and have trained individually. And then honestly, if you want to be the best, you need to invest and get the best of coaches. You need to invest and help them.
But that costs money, okay?
Of course,
we're talking about the International Tennis Academy in Florida, which is one of the most reputable tennis facilities in the world. I mean, getting a place there, we're talking thousands of dollars. How many Nigerians can afford that?
Of course, but then, just like you said, it costs money. So what then is the purpose of the Nigerian Tennis Federation? How do they lobby to get funds to help the athletes? So it doesn't really go well, but at the end of the day, if we do want to have athletes on the map in certain sports like this, tennis, for example, right now, we do need to invest.
What about setting up? I mean, you've seen football academies in Nigeria. What's wrong with setting up tennis academies in Nigeria that can serve as a hub, not only for Nigeria, but for even West Africa as well? I mean, we have the know-how, we have the interest in the sport, and I believe people like, I think one of Nigeria's tennis greats actually even set up an academy in Nigeria as well. But you get the impression that maybe we should be focusing more, set up more academies in Nigeria?
Definitely, we do need to. But widely, as Nigerians, tennis is not one of the sports that we take seriously. I think it's more,
speak for yourself.
From my own perspective, I think a lot of Nigerians see it more as a leisure activity, whereas taking it so serious to get competitive. We do have competitions at certain levels for, should I say, certain sports clubs. But then again, when it comes to competing nationally, when it comes to competing amongst Africa and maybe going the long shot, that's where we have a problem. You don't see people who are actually willing to go the long mile. And then the few that are willing and actually interested in going the long mile, they don't have the right support.
So is it, you've said something about, a lot of people see it as a leisure sport. Is it that so it's suffering a crisis of identity, that people see it, some people see it as an elitist sport, that it's only rich people, well-heeled people that can play sport, just like golf and polo? Is that the same thing as well?
That's what it seems like. At the end of the day, Nigerians have major interest, and we've seen that shown in the different category of sports, from athletics to football to basketball. Now we've seen developed interest and, should I say, results of investment when it comes to cricket and rugby. But then again, I think tennis is still one sport. To be more precise, lawn tennis is still one sport in Nigeria that has not really, should I say, hit Nigerians across different age grades. And just like you've mentioned, some people do see it as an elitist sport. And then, as from what I've seen, a lot of people just take it as a leisure activity.
So it's pretty much, according to Okpe Adebari, it's pretty no surprise that Nigeria hasn't particularly done well in the tennis event at the ongoing African Games. With Mary Love Edwards being knocked out, and also Wilson Igbenoghu as well, two of Nigeria's brightest prospects out of the competition in the men's and women's tennis events. Still sticking with the African Games, we can also tell you that Nigeria's athletics team actually got into great form early today, starting the competition on a great note. Nigeria dominating in the heats, doing pretty well in the 100-meter heats, doing pretty well in the women's 100-meter heat as well. We saw the likes of Justina Eyakpobeyan securing victory in heat 3 with a time of 11.43 seconds. Olayinka Olajide also won heat 4 of the women's 100 meters as well with a time of 11.51 seconds. Blessing Ogundiran, an athlete I've known for almost 10 years, she's also doing pretty well as well. She won heat 5 in a time of 11.63 seconds. All of them doing pretty well. No surprises in the athletics event, considering the fact that Nigeria characteristically has always done well in the sprints and in the middle and in the, well, especially in the sprints and in the field events as well.
Definitely. Just a quick reminder that in our history in the African Games, our stronghold is athletics.
Yeah.
So them doing well, it's expected. And then for this year, let's keep in mind that the African Games is going to serve as a precursor to the Olympics. For certain events, the coaches of the Nigerian Olympic team are going to source out athletes who are going to represent Nigeria at the Olympics. So I'm not surprised at all. I'm still looking forward to more athletes, in particular, Toby Amuson. I'm looking forward to seeing Ruth Osoro in action. I'm looking forward to seeing our very, very vocal shot put gentleman. So I'm looking forward to his exactly. I'm looking forward to his own review of the competition. I hope he has positive things to say. So yes, more events to look forward to. And trust me when I say we will get more gold medals from the athletics.
Well, Charles Ogundiya will be joining us from Accra to talk about day one of athletics as Nigeria has done, opened up the proceedings with some really good performances. Let's get Charles. Charles, thank you so much for joining us. Charles Ogundiya, can you hear me? Hello, Charles?
I can hear you. I can hear you, yes, I'm here.
Yeah, Charles, thank you so much for joining us. It's day one of athletics in the ongoing African Games. How would you describe Nigeria's performance so far? Promising?
It has been an interesting one here in Accra. You're surprised that we have 70% of the home-based athletes coming to compete there at the African Games with few of the foreign base. And it has been an interesting one, especially what the home-base have achieved, what they have done here in Accra. We have all two of our ladies who already qualified for the 100-meter women final. Justina was just the Youth Olympics Games silver medalist at the last time. And look at her here this time around, competing among the best. She already qualified for the final. And we have two men too getting to the final. Prosper Ekanem was discovered this year, even in Lagos. Look at what he has done today, qualifying also for the final of the 100-meter men. Shekiri was finished third at the last championship in Rabat, Morocco. But look at him today, he has finished first and is looking forward to qualify to win the gold this time around in the absence of the last winner, which is Limon Ekebo. So it has been a festival for everybody. The 400 meters, men and women, all the 6 of them, 3 men and 3 women, already to the semi-final of 400 meters. We have prospect to this, some of this data. Tomorrow is another day. We have 3 people the 100-meter hurdle for women. That's we have the like of the normal person to be. We have Stella Ayeleke, and we have the other person. We have 3 people competing tomorrow, and we have the throws and everything. So hopefully we can replicate what we did in Rabat 4 years ago. That's finishing top with 10 good medals. Let's see what's going to happen going forward from tomorrow.
Okay, Charles, you've talked about some new artists and the fact that a lot of them are actually home-based. Consider Kanem broke out last year. A lot of people never knew who he was, but he's done brilliantly so far. Apart from Consider Kanem, who is competing in the men's 100 meters, which other athletes are you also looking forward to also shine on the continental stage?
I just mentioned Justina. That's the 100-meter girl. She was at the last Youth Olympics, and she finished second. She has been there. She has been there for Nigeria for Christians. And one of the people coming up. Look at the likes of if you talk about her, if you talk about Israel Lukon, that's the man, that's and the boys. About Israel Lukon. You talk about
Ochonogo in the women's long jump as well.
We have so many of them, and it's going to be an interesting thing. Even I hope some of these foreign base can come around. Then we have Italy, Ogumoku, just coming in 400 meters. She used to be national champion in 800 meters. She was in Nigeria in 2011, competing in 800 meters, but she's back for 400 meters, and she already qualified for the semi-final of the 400 meters. Fine, she's foreign based, but she's just coming in. She's US Army. US Air Force officer. So we're looking forward to some of these people. At least we have the ones that have done well before. Nobody will start telling you about Choma Oyekuri, Ashley Anuma, and Obi Agiri and right. But now I'm talking about some of these people coming up. They should expect better fortune from Nigeria.
Okay, Charles, just before I let you go, we do know that Toby Amuson is on course for a historic 4 gold medals. She plans to compete in the women's 100 meters flat, the 100 meter hurdles, which is a specialty, the 4x100 meters, and I think in the 200 meters as well. It's surprising that she wants to take on all these, and it also has to do with the question of the schedule, whether she'll be able to compete favorably in all this. But is it possible? Can Toby Amuson become the first woman to win 4 gold medals in the track event at an African Games?
I'm not sure she's going to do that because she's going for hurdles and the 4x100 meters. So I don't know where the 4 is coming from. She's done the 100 meters already, and she was not part of the 100 meters, so she can't compete the 100 meter. Maybe 200, but I'm not sure she's going to be part of the 200 meter because checking the star list and name. Well, we've not done the 200 meters start list, but now that makes it.
I think we're having some technical problems with Charles Obundia from Ghana. Of course, you do know that there is some issues regarding internet connectivity with Ghana over the last week. But it's a real miracle that we get him in the first place. But Okwe, you've heard what Charles was talking about. That he's not sure that Toby Amuson can possibly clock up those 4 gold medals she's gunning for. The women's 100 meters that took place today, she wasn't there. So it's a possibility that she's probably stepped down ambition from 4 to 3, looking at the schedule.
Definitely, it is possible because she needs to consider the schedule. She needs to consider her form. I don't think she's going to give us 110% during these games because she would want to reserve energy for the Olympics as well. Considering coming into the African Games, she's only competed 3 times this year, so she might not be in the best of form. But I know she wants to make an impact at the African Games, and that's a major reason why she did come for it. She did have the option of staying in the US, continue training, maybe competing in indoor events, and then coming to meet up with the team at the Olympics. So it's a great statement by her. I know that local-based athletes will be learning from her. It would be good for them as well. And we're looking forward to what she's going to do in the 3 events for now. That's if she's going to be 3. It's looking like it might be 2. Hopefully it's going to be 3, and she might just make a record, not just for Nigeria, but for Africa as well.
Okay, we'll be watching very keenly and closely what Toby Amuson will bring to the table. I mean, that's a very used phrase. What she'll bring to the table at the ongoing African Games. We'll take a short break now on Game On. When we return, we'll be talking more about the African Games. Thank you for staying tuned. You're still watching Game On here on News Central Television. They're still talking Africa Games, and Nigerian boxers are actually in action today at the Games. They've been doing pretty well so far. One of them actually won her about 5-0 in the quarterfinals. All of them in the quarterfinals. Let's quickly give you a list of all the Nigerian boxers that were in action today at the ongoing Africa Games. Dolapo Omole, who has already qualified for the Olympic Games, he will be facing Chembeni Niven, while Olaore Olaiton will be fighting in the men's super heavyweight. He'll be facing Matete Kankonde Landry. Interesting name. Karim Shukrat, like I said, qualified earlier today. She defeated Hagishat Jo Sarah 5-0, while Ojo Nene will also be taking on Sakobi Machu Marcelat, and all in the quarterfinals of the boxing event at the ongoing Africa Games. So Karim is definitely in a medal position. She will definitely, worst case scenario, she will pick up a bronze medal. We're hoping that all the others follow suit. But for Dorpa Omole, I'm really pleased for him. He already qualified for the Olympic Games in an Olympic qualifier in Senegal last year, and he's showing great form so far this competition.
Definitely, I'm looking forward to it. But most especially because at the last Olympics we had no representatives.
None.
In boxing. A lot of things went down then. I'm not going to go into that.
So we have 4 boxers at the Olympic Games this year so far.
Yes, exactly. So, and I'm looking forward to them doing well at this African Games. Hopefully the 4 of them can get gold medals. That would help us in the medal table as well. But, it's good to see, should I say, a bit of a resurgence when it comes to Nigerian boxing, especially in the continental competitions.
In amateur boxing?
Yes, in amateur boxing. Amateur boxing, to be precise, not professional boxing. In a way, we've been a bit under the radar, and we've been away for a while, like 4 years. But it's good to see a mix back in there, especially at the African Games.
And don't forget that just last week, 68 African boxers, including Nigerians, competed at a tournament, an Olympic qualifying tournament in Italy. No single one of them managed to qualify, pick up any of the 49 spots. But there's still another qualifying tournament in Thailand. Hopefully, can we possibly get a few more Nigerians in that mix as well?
It is possible because boxing is one of our strong suits. This is a sport where we've excelled in the past.
We've won silver medal, we've won bronze medal.
Yeah, but I think most importantly, before the last Olympics, we had regular representation at the Olympics. So it might be an opportunity for us to, should I say, mend our name when it comes to the sport of boxing.
Okay, so 4 Nigerian boxers are in action today. One of them has already qualified for the semi-final. By virtue of that, she's guaranteed at least a bronze medal. But hopefully, we're hoping that she can go even further and possibly pick up a gold medal. There you see it on your screen. Karim Shukrat, she defeated Hagiat Jusara today in the quarterfinals. She's qualified for the semi-finals. Ojo Nene will also be in action later today, as well as Dolapo Omole and Olaore Olaiton. All these 3 will all be competing today for a place in the semi-final, a place in the medal zone, hoping to do Nigeria proud at the ongoing Africa Games. Still talking Africa Games, something interesting happened just over the last 48 hours as well. We hear that South Africa has withdrawn its national men's and women's hockey teams from the competition. According to them, the facility provided by the games organizers was substandard. From the Theodosia Oko hockey pitch, which was where the hockey event was supposed to take place. We heard that it was not ready, or it was described as substandard, below par. And because of that, the South Africans, they felt that this was not up to scratch, and they could not allow their teams to participate on them. And don't forget, South Africa do possess one of the 2 of the finest hockey teams in the world, both in the men's and women's event. So I can kind of understand why they did this. Okay?
Exactly, and that's the huge statement, not just from them, but in testament to the preparation of Ghana for these games. Now, this is just one event where we've seen a team actually withdraw because of the standard of the facilities. I think it does say a lot. And then I think to myself, just before the games began, wasn't there some sort of inspection regarding the standard of facilities?
Facilities, yes.
Because for a team like South Africa, just like you've mentioned, they've competed across different levels. There's a standard for them when it comes to hockey.
Used to, yeah.
Exactly, that they're used to. So if they don't meet that, or rather, if they don't even meet the barest minimum, they would not want to subject their players to that because it could cause injury for their players. They might not be able to play in a good way either. So for the coaching staff and the management, I believe they considered all of this. And sadly, the truth is, for them, it was not up to standard.
Yeah, but it still goes back to what a certain gentleman spoke to, the Ghanaian economist spoke to us about last week, about the quality of preparation, about how much they've spent on preparing Ghana for this competition, that even he felt the money could have been better spent elsewhere, but even the fact that it has been spent on facilities that have been described by some participating teams as not up to scratch, it's a damning testament to just how ill-prepared Ghana are.
Definitely. Also considering the fact that it took them 1 extra year to get it done.
I mean, the games were postponed multiple times.
Yeah, they were postponed multiple times. And, I mean, there's a reason why it's currently called the 2023 African Games. So, you take that long to be ready, and at the end of the day, you don't get the required results. I think it's a problem. And then for me, from social media, when I took a look at the videos of the facilities, the few things I did see in terms of facilities, they looked pretty good to me. But
then seeing is different from actually feeling.
Exactly. Yeah. So, that's why last week I was so excited to hear from Dare Kuti, and I wanted to hear from him directly. What is the situation on ground? How are things looking? Because I know that few athletes would want to speak out, but then again, this is not just a case of athletes speaking out. It's a case of a federation speaking out and saying, look, for the purpose of my team, for us coming here, and for the safety of them, these facilities are not good enough.
Well, speaking of athletes speaking out, we'll be hoping to hear from Chukwebuka Enekoichi. He's always speaking out if he finds things not to his liking. So if he says nothing, I guess that's a kind of pass mark.
Honestly, I'm looking
for Ghana's track and field preparation. But still talking about the Africa Games right now, let's tell you that matches were played in the women's qualification event for football as well. Nigeria in action earlier today defeated Uganda by 2-0. Nigeria are now in the final of the women's football event. Remember, it's the national under-20 women's team, the Flamingos, the Falcons, who are competing in this level. So it's really good performance from Nigeria, beating Uganda to get to the final. Considering the fact that Uganda actually defeated Nigeria in the men's event, so the women are definitely doing something that the men can't do. There's also another game currently going on. It's Ghana versus Senegal. We'll bring you live updates regarding that scoreline as the competition continues. But last Friday, Nigeria lost their last game of the tournament in the men's football event 3-2 to Senegal, booting them out of the competition. And there have been recriminations from everywhere. People have been calling for the head of Ladan Boso. It's one thing to call for a coach's head. Rightly so.
Oh, yes, rightly so.
Wait, hold on. It's one thing to call for a coach's head, but what about the quality of preparation that his team had?
Fine, we talk about the quality of preparation, but it was majorly down to the coach. The coach is responsible for preparing the team as well.
Hold on. The coach cannot call players to camp if the federation does not provide facilities, does not provide logistics, does not provide funding. So there's only so much the coach can do with the players. If they had prepared this team for, let me say, 3 months, 6 months, you can possibly call the coach out. But how long has this team been prepared? And did they receive the required support from the federation? That's my question.
True. Very, very solid points. But when you listen to what Ladan Boso had to say post-match conference, he made it basically seem like, look, the crop of players that he did invite for this tournament, there might have been a possibility that he might not have put them through the process. He selected these certain players because he felt some of them deserved it from a personal preference point of view.
Oh, wow. So it's not a case of merit.
It's not a case of merit. He felt that some of these players should have been promoted to the under-23 and to the senior team. His words, the words of Ladan Boso. So at the end of the day, even if there was going to be a proper process to get these players into camp, prepare them, and then to go for the tournament, there is no guarantee that Ladan Boso was going to pick every single player from the camp, because in his words, there are specific players that he felt needed to be in the team. A couple of weeks ago, we had this discussion with Wale Edigun. We said, look, and we even considered the under-17 tournament that was going on at that point in time. We've seen Beyond Limits FC, we've seen Ojojo FC go for the Viareggio tournament and do so well. Why are this crop of players not in the team?
It's a question that really needs to be properly thrashed out by the federation regarding the quality of the coaches that they've been employing over the last few years. Whatever, Manu Garba, Unduka Ogbade, they've been there for quite a while. A lot of people believe that
and then, some time. Then again, speaking of Manu Garba, reports have it that he might be the next coach of the under-17.
We'll see. It's still reports so far, but we'll see how that pans out. Let's leave that behind and also tell you that Nigeria's women's national women's wrestling team continue to perform miracles, as it were, in terms of the sport. Remember, just a few weeks ago at the Africa Games, they won 6 gold medals. Well, they're currently in Morocco for the African Wrestling Championships, and my word, they are blitzing the opposition. 4 gold medals already. All 4 gold medalists have now qualified for the Africa and Oceania Olympic Games qualifiers. Blessing Oborodudu, you saw her qualify as well, won her event. Omolayo also won her event as well. And of course, this woman, Odunwayo Aderikuroye, multiple African champion. She is at it again, also winning another gold medal. And Tolulope, I beg your pardon, Ogunsoya, also winning another gold medal as well. There will be 4 medal, I think 10 Nigerian wrestlers will be on parade tomorrow, including reigning African champion Mercy's Genesis. But whatever it is that we're doing right in wrestling, I really wish we could replicate it everywhere.
Definitely, we do need to. And speaking about these athletes currently, these wrestlers that have gotten their medals, we have 2 other female wrestlers as well who will be competing in the 95 kg category, and I think the one above as well, 110 if I'm not mistaken. So it's good news so far. We were expecting us to be able to do this, to get gold medals in wrestling. I hope the men are able to replicate this as well. And then, but thinking about it, when it comes to weightlifting, when it comes to, should I say, wrestling as well, we've been doing well in this. Honestly, I feel it was expected. The federation presidents all in unison. Yes, yeah. Exactly. They all said, look, going for this tournament, expect us to bring gold medals.
They almost didn't make it, but thankfully they got a last-minute cash injection which allowed the team to travel to Egypt where they're competing. And thankfully 4 Nigerian athletes, Nigerian wrestlers, women's wrestlers are in the Olympic qualifiers as well. Another one also lost her final as well, but she's also qualified as well. So congratulations to Daniel Gali and the national women's wrestling team. We'll take a short break again on Game On. When we come back, it's football. We have a very special guest joining us live from Lagos, talking about his first full season in the Nigeria Professional Football League. Coach Paul Ofo of Sporting Lagos joins us after the break. Thank you for staying tuned. You're still watching Game On News Central Television. It's been fun. It's been quite entertaining. We had a live guest all the way from Accra, Ghana, Charles Ogundiya, correspondent for New Telegraph, telling us that Nigeria is doing pretty well in the athletics event, which started today. Hopefully, we'll be able to clean out the medals there as well. But 53 other African countries will be contesting that Nigerian right. But it's time for football. Let's leave everything else behind and face football squarely. And matches were played in the Nigeria Professional Football League over the weekend. Let's quickly bring you all the results. The Southwest Derby was a titanic affair at the in Ibadan, right? It was a really good game between Shooting Stars and Remo Stars. Let's quickly give you all the results now, but we can tell you that Remo Stars went to Ibadan, but ultimately lost to Shooting Stars by 2-0. Dramatic scenes in that game. We'll be talking about that as we progress. But Abia Warriors and Sunshine Stars played out a goalless draw. Gombe United and Akwa United also played a 1-1 draw. I think that's actually the wrong. Okay, yeah, it's actually the right one. So Sporting Lagos defeated Kwara United by 2-0 at the Mobology Bank Anthony Arena. Aimba defeating Niger Tornadoes 3-1. Bendel Insurance thrashing Doma United by 4-0. Rivers United beating Heartland 1-0. Bayelsa United also overcoming Kano Pillars 2-1. Enugu Rangers beating league leaders Lobby Stars 2-1. While Katsina United were too good at home against visiting Plateau United. Let's quickly show you the top 6 in the NPFL now. Nothing has really changed. It is still Lobby Stars leading the log, as it were, but yes, we still have a few other teams in the mix. Rangers have moved into second place. 45 points, just a point behind the Lobby Stars. Aba also breathing down the next of the top 2 with a poorer goal difference, but it is now looking like a proper title race. Okay, Plateau United in that top 4 as well. Remo Stars just outside the top 4. And guess who is in the mix? Shooting Stars, shooting up the table with 40 points after their 2-0 win at home to Remo Stars. And bottom 6, let's quickly show you the teams that are bottom of the table. Heartland is still in that mix as well. Gombe United is still in that mix as well. Akwa United, former champions just a few seasons ago, are there as well. Kwara United are in that mix, and just above them, Niger Tornadoes and Bayelsa United as well. So that's the top 6, bottom 6 in the NPFL. We have a title race on our hands. Just 1 point separated the top 3 teams, 2 points separating the top 4 teams, 6 points separating the top 6 teams. it's looking pretty tight.
Definitely. And I think the Nigerian Premier Football League has to be one of the most unpredictable leagues in the world, definitely, because you can go into a particular match week, you expect a certain result, that's not what you're going to get, but you will get drama, quality football, and lots of goals.
Oh, yeah. Speaking about drama, there was drama in Ibadan at the Lekan Salami Stadium in that game between Shooting Stars and Remo Stars. The Battle of the Stars, like we like to call it. Well, Remo Stars striker Sikiru Alimi, who used to play for Shooting Stars at some point in his career, well, he faced tremendous backlash from the fans. Unsurprisingly, these kind of things happen. Because don't call it banter. A bit of it was over the top, but it was all good-natured. I mean, that's him. That's fans calling him a thief in Yoruba. I don't know what exactly he stole, but it is what it is. And according to Sikiru, it was all good-natured. He shrugged it off. He didn't think of it as anything. He got a red card in that game, was sent off, but he went into the dressing room, came back, and everything seemed nice and clean, right? But when the Remo Stars were leaving the stadium, trying to get into their bus and leave the stadium, we heard that Sikiru Alimi was assaulted by some fans, and I'm wondering why. For God's sake, why? He didn't even score, and your team won. Why would you resort to manhandling and physically assaulting a player?
Honestly, they took it too far, and then there's no tangible reason for doing that. There's no justification for doing that. But if you do ask them, they will say to you that, look, he was their best player at a point in time. Maybe according to them, he left them at a point in time where they needed him the most. But when you take a look at the state of their team
People move.
Exactly.
People move. Cristiano Ronaldo moved.
Yes,
Messi moved.
It's the business of football.
It's the business
of football. But then I think fans do take things too far, and that's just an example right there. And to make things worse, a lot of fans online were saying Sikiru Alimi should have fought back because a certain Nigerian compatriot in another country did that. But I mean, nevertheless, I think Sikiru Alimi is a top professional. I think he's a great example for youngsters who want to make it in Nigerian Professional Football League. And I think at the end of the day, him not reacting, he conducted himself in a good way, and I hope he'll be compensated for his good act.
Well, surprisingly, we heard that Remo Stars have not made an official complaint, but I really like the MPFL authorities to look into that. Where was the security? I mean, how could the players been allowed to, fans, so allowed access to the players? I know the Lagos Salami Stadium can be a bit chaotic at times in terms of the facilities and where they're located, the parking lots and stuff, but there should have been stewards preventing fans from getting close to the players. There should have been security details as well. So it's something that the MPFL should look at. No player, under no circumstances should be assaulted by fans at any stadium. Well, at this point in time, we'd like to talk about one team that has taken the Nigerian Professional Football League to, do I say, exciting new heights. Their fans are probably the loudest in this country. Everybody who comes to the stadium would like to give their testament to that fact. And I'm talking about the Mobolaji Bank Anthony Arena here in Lagos, formerly known as the Onikon Stadium. Sporting Lagos, according to a lot of people, have been a breath of fresh air. One of three privately owned teams in the 20-league Nigerian Professional Football League. They have been doing brilliantly well. And this man on your screen has taken the job like a duck to water. In just his first season in the MPFL, Coach Paul Ofor has garnered quite a lot of attention for the revolutionary football that his team plays. He, alongside Coach Daniel Ogumodede of Remo Stars, are one of only two. The only two coaches in this country, in my honest opinion, who actually played 3-4-3, and they've done brilliantly well. Did great things in the preseason in the Super 6, struggling to find their feet in the MPFL this season, but it's been fun watching MPFL side Sporting Lagos navigate the waters of the MPFL. And with that, we'd like to introduce to you Coach Paul Ofor, who joins us live from Lagos. Coach Paul, thank you so much for gracing our studios here at Game On.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Coach, tell us, everybody looks at you and says, who is this quiet, suave, good-looking guy? You probably pass for a banker, and everybody's wondering, what is this man doing coaching football? How did Coach Paul Ofor get into football?
It's a long story.
Give us the abridged version
of the game. I have good passion for the game. I started coaching with under 10 in the Iseluko, and from there I had the opportunity to go to Warri, where I coached Tiakoma Football Club. Then that was how Warri Wolf saw me and signed me up. We gained promotion together, and I went to Benin Republic from Warri Wolf and back to Lagos, Sporting Lagos, back to Nigeria to coach Sporting Lagos.
Yeah, so, but coach,
that's just the summary of my, yeah.
excellent summary. I mean, I'm looking at your CV here. Like Warri Wolves. There's also Anioma United. There's also Jeffa United. That was the Benin Republic club that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the question: how does one get a call to coach one of probably the biggest and fastest growing football franchises in Nigeria football? What was it like when you got that call saying, yes, we'd like you to be new head coach at Sporting Lagos?
Yeah, it was very exciting. I was in Benin Republic trying to set up the projects there. When the opportunity to come to Sporting Lagos came, I got a call from the owner, Mr. Shola, and he told me about the project, what they want to do in the NNL, and the dream to come up to MPFL, and they needed a coach. They also followed my work in Warri Wolf and what I was also currently doing there in Jeffa in Benin. So they told me about the conditions and also what they have on ground. So I was very excited about it and I decided to join.
So in 1 year, this is exactly 1 year now since you were appointed coach of Sporting Lagos. So congratulations to you. When you were appointed, they were in the NNL. You led them to promotion. How has that journey been from the NNL to the MPFL? What is the difference between playing in the NNL and the MPFL?
A lot. The first thing first is that Sporting Lagos, when I joined, gave me the enabling environment. The chairman was there, was very supportive. Our technical director, Coach Paul, and also the owner of the team, Mr. Shola, everybody, the coaching crew that I met on ground, they gave me the free hand to work and were able to recruit good, experienced players that help us to execute the NNL. Coming into the MPFL is a lot different from NNL, I was very honest to you, because in the MPFL, if you make mistakes, you are going to get punished immediately. And it's more of long balls and transition game in the MPFL. Less organization, I must say, because there is a lot of randomness in the MPFL that if you don't deal with the first and the second balls, and if you don't deal with the transitions properly, then you get into trouble. So it's more physical in the MPFL, and you have to be ready for the journeys. You also have to be ready for the midweek games, the number of games, dealing with injuries and all that in the MPFL, which is totally different from the NNL season we had.
Okay, you have a question?
Yeah, so Coach Paul, for someone who is so tactically sound, with no sentiment attached, you are a very tactically sound coach. I like the way you make your team play good football. I've watched your team play a couple of times, and when I see the way you implement the three at the back, I see a lot of times that you allow the center backs to roam into different spaces. And then you also did mention that coming into the NPFL is a totally different ballgame, because sometimes all about the second balls and transmissions. So how do you balance allowing your team play good football, displaying good football, and also getting results when it's needed the most?
First of all, it's all about the trust from the owners, the patience also they have. If it was a lot of clubs, I think the issues we had in the first round would have resulted to maybe a sack. But the team, the owner of the team, they have been patient with the philosophy and the ideas of football I brought him to the team, and been very supportive. In the MPFL, recently we've also tried to adapt to a 4-3-3, not just 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. We are flexible, myself and my technical crew, we are flexible to adapting to the quality of opponents we want to play, and also looking at the quality of players we have in our team. But everything we do, like allowing the central midfield defenders to be able to rove into the midfield, or allowing the fullbacks to come into the midfield, it's all about the quality of the players we have. The quality we have in the team is what allows us to execute whatever we want to do tactically.
All right, great. I remember against Remo Stars, I was there actually. I met up with you after the game. And just like you said, your team is flexible. You played with a 4 at the back. But to be more precise, I saw that you were very much, should I say, in unison with the fans. You, at the point in time, you led a chant for them to start singing, "Oh, Junior Locosa." So what is the relationship between you and the fans of Sporting Lagos?
It is great, honestly. I'm enjoying my relationship with them. And the way they support us, like I always tell them, they speak to the players more than I speak to the players, because for 90 minutes, they are always talking to them. That is always the message I send to the fans. They've been very supportive to me personally and also to the players. And, for some time, Junior Lokosa struggled in front of goals and he had difficult moments. So I needed the fans to really be behind him in that game and also appreciate him for the effort he put in that game against Remo Star, because I told him that you are going to lead us out of this game and you are going to help us win the game. And he did exactly that by taking that first opportunity we had in the penalty that we had against them in the first minute, 5th minute, and he was calm and composed and showed his leadership quality and his ability in front of goal. And that set the tone for the game, and it gave us that confidence, okay, look, we can come out against this team and be able to take them out. We did that. 4 goals at the end of the day, 4-1, it ended 4-1. So it tends to also the leadership. I keep talking about the leadership quality, what Junior Lokosa offers us in the dressing room and even on the field, how he talks to the players, how he leads without the armband. I'm really, really very grateful to him.
Well, Coach Paul, I'm sure you've probably seen those incredible scenes in Aba where we had VAR, in quotes. You've also probably seen, that goal that Rivers United scored at home against Kano Pillars, where it seemed as if like I said, the goalkeeper was impeded by an opposition player. How would you describe the quality of the refereeing in the MPFL? Could it be better, or is it fantastic?
It's a lot better than what it used to be. So we'll have to give kudos to the referees and also to the league management. Can it get better? Definitely it can get better. So we'll continue to raise the standard and continue to try to make it better. I feel this season, I will give 70% so far, but we can get to 80, 85, and 90 before the end of the season. But so far, I also like how the league board and the NFF are not joking with poor officiating and making sure that when you don't conduct yourself properly as a referee, that you are disciplined and brought to book. So it's also going to help everybody to be conscious of their actions. So kudos to the league management board and also the NFF.
Okay, Coach, I also need to ask this question. A lot of people have talked about it's been difficult playing on different surfaces. For example, at the Mobile Bank Arena, you play on a synthetic pitch. Away from home, you play on a grass pitch. How do you manage to, find the right balance where your team is comfortable on both surfaces, or any surface, as it were?
It's really difficult because here in Lagos, we only train with the artificial turf. We don't have any alternative for a grass pitch, except the NIS field, which is also not very good. And it really affected us against Niger Tornadoes, the last game we played in Kaduna. I don't think any of us were able to make 3-4 passes because the field was bumpy and it wasn't good. So both of us resorted to long balls. I think also the league management board have to look into some of the pitches that has also been approved for the league, because the Kaduna pitch wasn't good at all and they allow us to play our football.
Finally, Coach, before I let you go, first season in the MPFL with Sporting Lagos, how would you describe that? And possibly what can we look forward to from Sporting Lagos before the end of the season?
We are committed in Sporting Lagos to improving our standards every day. And we are looking at how to get better both home and away and make sure that the fans get the deserved results in every game we play, whether we're playing home or away. We want to finish in the top half of the table, and we are committed to doing that. The players are committed to doing that. I'm very excited and very happy with the run in the second round. We've been able to win all our home games. We've also been able to pick a point away, but we want to do more. We want to go away and not just pick a point, pick 3 points, and also come home and be able to pick 3 points. That's the only way we feel that we can move up the table and finish where we want to finish on the log. We also want to learn all the lessons we can learn this season so that we can use it to prepare better for next season, to make sure that we stabilize in the league and also contest for the trophy, for winning the league. But for this season, we just want to stabilize.
Coach Paul Ofor, head coach of Sporting Lagos, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And we wish you all the very best towards your ambitions towards the end of the season. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you've had a very interesting gentleman. He had quite a lot to say, but we are really pressed for time, so we really have to move forward and start by telling you that Nike have today unveiled the 2024 jerseys for the Nigerian national team. Interesting designs that you can see right there on your screen. So from what we hear, this will be the away kit. The new away kit will actually be white, and that is exactly what you see on your screen. I don't know what you think about it, but I'm liking it. It's new, it's different, it's fresh, and it's something really good for fans of the game. Yeah, so before we go, let's tell you that something Okpe alluded to happened over the weekend in Turkish football in a game between Trabzonspor, who are hosting Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce won that game by 3-2, and the Trabzonspor fans were unhappy. They invaded the pitch, started trying to assault the players, and there you see Bright Osai Samuel, Nigerian international fullback. He took matters into his hand. Look at that punch. A lot of people have said that this is what Shikiru Alimi should be doing, channeling his inner Bright Osai Samuel, but he decided that he wanted to be a gentleman and wasn't going to do it. But Bright Osai Samuel, you have a future in boxing. Many thanks to everyone behind the scenes who made today's broadcast a wonderful experience. My name is Babatunde Koiki, wishing you a wonderful evening. Game On returns tomorrow. Bye-bye.